find that cooperation between the Pentagon and CIA is a lot closer now since General Hayden and yourself have led CIA?
No, I had nothing to do with it. 9/11 had everything to do with it. Actually, let me back up just for a second on the CIA. Look, the CIA in the past, in the present, and in the future is out there trying to recruit spies and steal secrets. And we're always going to keep doing that. What is going to change, and is changing actually, is the way in which you do some of that. Obviously, cyberspace is going to have a much bigger role. Hang on, I'm attached to this thing here. So cyberspace plays a much bigger role. And so we're much more active there, and there are lots of investments being made in that arena. Beyond that is the importance of what's called open source intelligence. A lot of people think, oh man, the CIA, you ought to be out there collecting the stuff in social media sites and everywhere. In fact, I actually had the head of one of our committees one time say, it would really be nice if you did that. I said, well, perhaps you could come visit the Open Source Intelligence Center that the CIA runs for the overall U.S. intelligence community, and which has 1,000 people around the world that are vacuuming this stuff up and can predict within a reasonable margin of error, as they did one time, how many people were actually going to be in a square in Moscow demonstrating on a Friday. So we're much more into that. We're much more into big data. Big data has presents enormous potential and reality for us. There's a reason that the venture capital fund that is nonprofit, independent, but gets money from the CIA, publicly known, InQtel, invested the first $1 million in Palantir, which is one of the premier big data companies in the world. It's now worth something like $20 billion. And that investment was a great one for InQtel, I can tell you. It's one reason why the CEO of InQtel earns about 15 times as much as the CIA director, but we can still give them our money. So again, that organization is going to continue to evolve. It's going to continue to attract America's best and brightest. It is extraordinary who signs up for that. I had a lot of venues to try to get to know people in the organization. The first bright idea was we would have one called Run with the Director. And the problem was the only people that raised their hand were, under the age of 23 or something like that. I got to know every college intern really well. So then I decided we'd have work out with the director. And so that, you talk during a workout, and that attracted a few more applicants. And still we did the ab exercises. That was the end of that. So then I decided we'd have eat with the director, and that was great. So we'd go down to the, we call it the People's Revolutionary Cafeteria, this big, huge food court. Believe it or not, sit down and have 4 folks around us, and that's the perfect number. And a series of questions that I would ask them, again, to get a feel, and it was a certain category of people that I wanted. Well, so one of the times I said to the guy, so, where do you work in the headquarters? He said, well, Director, I refuse to work in the headquarters. I said, oh, really? I said, well, what's your job title? He said, well, I refuse to have a job title, too. I said, okay, well, what are you doing here? He said, well, look, I built and sold 3 IT startups. My family is good to go for the next 5 generations, but I always wanted to serve in the CIA. And I know deep down that you have to be having all kinds of tradecraft problems now because of the digital footprint and fingerprint that we leave every time we do a transaction. It used to be you could go through customs in Dubai and you'd go through with one passport, you ditch that one, pick another one up at a dead drop, check into the hotel, toss that one, pick up a rental car with another one. Nowadays it's all linked. And the first time you put the passport down that didn't come through customs is, red lights go off. So he said, we're going to help you with this. And lo and behold, he did. But he refused to do it in the headquarters, and he refused to have a job title. We were okay with that, which shows the enlightened place that the CIA is. It's really an awesome, awesome place, and I loved it dearly.